you know, after high school, it just kind of I just went downhill fast, and it was just a downhill spiral from there. It just went out of control really fast. I actually have a life now, which is awesome. I didn't have one before, really. Not one to be proud of anyways.
I eventually lost my condo. My wife divorced me. I've overdosed 9 times. And to be here is not easy, but honestly, I feel I should be dead.
I live in a beautiful area. I play sports. I love sports. It's really kind of easy to make me happy.
I've done an accumulation of 5 years in jail and in prison. I graduated college and got my certificate. I got married in recovery, so in our wedding we had like over 100 years in just our bridal party of recovery, and everybody the next day remembered it.
You have to stay high so that you don't care. Otherwise, you can't live with yourself.
My life today looks nothing like it did at all 5 years ago. I would have never imagined that this would be the life that I'm living. I have a husband. We've been married almost a year now, and we have 2 lovely puppies.
I just couldn't stop, and it got to the point where I wanted to die, but you know, I couldn't do it myself.
I surf, I dive, I stand-up paddle, I go on trips with friends. I have a ton of friends today that actually care about me.
I lost my best friend. He died in my hands from what we call a hot shot of heroin. It was heroin that was poisoned, and that really didn't stop me. It really didn't faze me.
You know, it's such a cliche, that cheesy line of my worst day sober is still better than my best day high. But it's the truth.
The party never changes, it never gets different. It's the same thing over and over again, and you're reaching for this sense of I belong, but you never quite get there.
I love having real friendships where we're honest, we follow through with each other, and we're there for each other.
There's no happy ending to that. There's no happy ending to that life. You know, you're just going to continue to lie, cheat, and steal to the people who you claim you love.
Talking about waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go snowboarding, you know. Well, I'm able to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm able to drive, I'm able to do this, I'm able to use my money, I'm able to do all this other fun stuff.
When I was 18, I overdosed on ecstasy. I can't dance, I can't run, and my speech is slow.
What makes me happy is the fact that I got into USC. So I will be going to USC in about 3 weeks. And I'm studying communications and just being able to move on in my life.
Yesterday is history.
Most people who end up getting overtaken by addictions, they've had a broken heart somewhere along the way. And really, with all the work I do, I focus on heart issues. And when people tell their story and there's someone else that hears and validates their journey and can understand and help them connect some pieces, hope begins to be born.
There's a genetic thing that's going on too. In my family, almost everybody has had problems with addiction. And it could be half the reason why I see patients, why they come into a hospital like to see me, is half the reason is their biology was off balance even before they started their first drink or a drug, that their brain was set up to have this unusual attraction to alcohol or drugs, like a potato chip effect. They take one drink, they want a second one. About 20% of the world has that.
It's a brain disorder, and what really helps people a lot with their recovery is to get to that and look at what's driving that use. A lot of people are not just using substances because of wanting to have this grand time, but for real disorders that are happening. So, you know, depression and anxiety and not being able to sleep is a big factor for many people, even before the use starts.
When I talk at the schools and stuff, a lot of times, you know, I'll say I had fun, and then it was fun with problems, and then it was just problems. I became a slave. It got to the point where I woke up in the morning, and all I thought about was who am I going to steal from? Who do I have to jack to get high? And that was my entire existence. So I wasn't living anymore.
It's evil,
and it's one of the worst things that a family can experience.
That's the definition of an alcoholic or a drug addict, is continued use of a chemical despite the negative consequences.
You know, they say that addiction is a family disease, and it's absolutely correct. My whole family was torn apart by my addiction. They didn't know what had happened to their daughter. I wasn't the same person. Our relationships were tarnished.
How did my addiction affect my family? I can't even put it into words. It absolutely tore them apart. It's been a journey for them also. In the last, the 13 years of daily heroin use was, they slowly just pulled away to the point to where a couple of years ago my mom had told me that she had actually planned my funeral. She had actually put a deposit down, and because she had just given up, she didn't know what to do. Everybody had pulled away. My brother felt hopeless. My poor sister, she was there with me as much as she could, but she knew that she couldn't support me in my recovery. She wasn't going to enable me, because they were going to their recovery program as far as how to deal with an addict in their family.
My mom had to come visit me in jail multiple times, and every single time there was just, I've been told the last time actually, there was about 4 or 5 times that she had to come into jail and visit me, and this is when before I was 19 too. So just by the last time, I just saw how emotionally dead she was about it. Like, it was almost as if it was expected. There's going to be nothing else that she could do about it. That this is just going to be my life. Just going in and out of jails for the rest of my life.
Really, when alcoholics and addicts look at the damage they've done to themselves and their own lives and their loved ones, and the shame they feel and everything that's wrapped into their addiction, it's almost as if depression and anxiety are understandable reactions, But that's where compassionate, restorative, healing environments help them put the pieces back together.
Help is available, so is hope.
When someone comes up and actually asks for help, then the simple question is, do you want what I have? In terms of sobriety, because, don't drive the greatest of trucks and don't do the greatest of things, but in terms of sobriety, do you want what I have? And generally always the answer is yes. I want to be able to be clean. I want to be able to be sober for an extended time. And pretty much the first thing that I ask them when they come up and ask for help is, are you ready?
I don't think anyone can help another addict as well as another addict. Now, I know they have doctors and psychologists and parents and priests and all that, but there's this gift that's given to recovering people, that they have a way to communicate with an addict like no one else can from their heart.
It's essential that the addict or alcoholic opens their heart and their mind and start accepting the gift of sobriety, the gift of friendship, the gift of love. Because the drug itself beats you down.
This last time I detoxed in jail. That was not fun, but I've done that before. And a lot of accountability through the court system. I'm an active participant in the drug court system, here at South Drug Court, and that has been really life-changing. It was very difficult in the beginning to have probation and healthcare and the judge and the public defender and the DA all really running my life, but the level of my addiction needed that amount of treatment.
By the time somebody's 18, 19, or 20 years old, when we see them here in court, it's like coming upon the scene of an automobile accident where the car is all crashed up. How did the car get crashed? Was it driver error? Was it a mechanical problem with the car? Was it inattention? Were they texting or using their cell phone? There could be any number of reasons why that car crashed. So we have to look at any number of reasons why the person needs treatment, not just maybe for substance abuse, but some type of other counseling or other treatment with other issues that they're dealing with that's contributed to the substance abuse.
There's a physical part of this, and there's an emotional part. I mean, the other half of the reason why people come into treatment is that they're running from anger and guilt and resentment and inferiority and unworthiness and grief and loss and abuse and stress. They're numbing emotional baggage. And some people come in with more emotional baggage, and some people come in with more of a genetic, biologic load, but everybody has both.
You know, it all depends on the individual. I try to get to know the person a little bit, to find out what's important to them. Maybe it's a child, maybe it's a grandparent, maybe you know, a husband or a wife. Everybody's different.
Family participation is very important in this recovery process, especially for adolescents, you know, along with everybody, whether they're adults or adolescents. The participation and support of the family is essential. It's known as a family disease in the treatment field, and so they are required to participate so that they can have the skills, the education about how to support this and get better, because everybody has their role in order to get better. So yeah, it's very, very essential and important that they do participate.
As part of the focus of our young people's group, we try to learn from them, so perhaps we can do things a little bit better. And oftentimes I'll have the group divided into two sections and ask them a question, and ask them to just write down their collaborative answer. And sometimes we ask the question, what could my parents have done to prevent me from using drugs? It's interesting, some of the responses we get, such as not give me money, understand what our problems are and who we are, give us a healthy balance between controlling us and being lenient. They also sometimes say restrict us from our bad friends or our bad influences, teach us better coping skills. One that I particularly liked was spend more in picture of a clock with me, spend more time with me. They want people to, for example, the parents not to use drugs in front of them or not to make drugs accessible to them. And so there's just a number of influences and opportunities for us to learn, you know, what the young people feel that could be done to have prevented this or to help them through this.
You offer treatment and you offer recovery, and you tell them, I can't support ongoing addiction in your life, but I will support with everything in me any steps toward recovery that you make. And as parents, we would do, I mean, there's nothing that would stop me. I wouldn't think, well, I'm saving for retirement. I mean, I would just, if my kid wants recovery, my kid has got it. If I put it on credit cards, I will do it. Because you know what? We might be buying 30 days, but miracles happen in those 30 days.
If I hadn't had my parents' support and if they weren't, you know, encouraging, and I didn't apologize to them, and we didn't learn to love each other on more than like a superficial level, I don't think I would be as at peace as I am today.
Once your child is in treatment, don't give up. Don't give up on your son or daughter. Continue to show the love and the support. You don't want to enable at all, but you also don't want to turn your backs on your own child. So continue to support them, give them all the love that you can, and walk them through this.
We as a city have decided that we're going to take on educating the parents and the adults in our kids' lives. And we know through fact, we have school resource officers that are very knowledgeable about what's going on in the schools. So we have all of these resources already at our hand, and we have decided that we're going to use them. Anything that can keep a person alive, especially somebody who's overdosing, if you can keep that person alive, there's always hope.
It usually takes about 3 or 4 months for the brain scan to look like the real person that's fully functioning, where their brain is actually recharged enough to have a lot more good days than bad days. So there's this 3-month period of time when people are still technically under the influence of their drugs.
It just takes time for the dust to settle, and their brains have to heal. So it's a process.
Once the brain starts to repair, people can manage stressful situations, manage cravings, manage a lot of those things that people are really uncomfortable dealing with.
I guess the biggest message would be it takes willingness to want it. And some people never get that chance. I mean, they die before they get the chance to be willing to get this. And I can say out of 14 years of using and doing all that stuff, compared to the 4 years I have, the 4 years I have, the fun and the quality of life is so much better in comparison to the 14 years.
By far, the majority of people that really do treatment really make it. The problem is the majority of people don't do the treatment. The majority of people want to just come in, do detox 5 or 7 days, and then go out and hope that they stay sober, maybe hit some meetings. And the majority of those people don't make it.
So many people that are just ready for that week. They're ready for that month. Oh, I need to be clean for the next week, however much time. Because my experience just with watching everybody, when you're clean, if you're into it and you're into it hard, and you're clean for a short period of time, when you get back into it, you're going to get back into it right where you left off.
You matter.
What inspired me to get clean was my life just kind of coming to a point where there's these series of events that had happened, and the culmination kind of being empty inside, feeling like materialistically, emotionally, spiritually, that I had nothing left. I have my family, they loved me still, I had a roof over my head, but inside there was no drive left, there was no willingness to live a good life, just completely void of anything inside. And I think that it finally just came to a head, and for whatever reason on one particular day, I was done.
I thought it was because, it's because you're in jail, and I said that's not the case. I've gotten high in jail. And then it was like, it's because you're in treatment, and I've gotten high in treatment before, and it's because I'm on probation or I'm in drug court, and people get high in drug court and when they're on probation. I've been on formal probation before drug court, and I still was able to get loaded. But really what it was is I came across a situation a couple weeks ago where literally it was in my possession. There was a lot of pills, and I played the tape in many different ways. I'm like, okay, drug court, well maybe I can get away with this, and maybe I might lose my job, and that wasn't the case. But it was really like, if I get high tonight, what then?
I put my sobriety in the number one position in my life. My sobriety, my recovery is in front of my wife, it's in front of my children, it's in front of everything that I do. Nothing comes in front of it, because if I am not sober, if I'm not clean and sober, I won't have a wife, I won't have my children, I won't have a job, I won't have a home here in Laguna Beach.
My life has purpose. My life is to, number one, stay sober, and number two is to help another recovering person, find this recovery and have a new life. And so I wake up every day with that. I can't go wrong.
The addict needs to know that they're going to have support. They need to know they're going to be understood. They need to know that they've got people there that they can rely on, that they can count on, so that when they can't count on themselves, they know they're accountable for others.
Today I have a great life. I'm married to a great guy who's very good to me, my children. I'm close with my family. But probably the biggest reason is my husband and I work in the recovery business, and we have clients that I'm accountable to. And there's been rough times where I've considered drinking or using or, and I think about those little faces, and my clients keep me accountable.
I kind of converted all the energy I was putting into drinking and drugging and partying and trying to find that next fix into the positive aspect. I got given a great opportunity at a job, and I rose quickly in it. I'm still there even, it's 7 years later.
I was blinded to the fact that all I cared about was me and getting my drugs and getting it my way. And through recovery, that was one of the harder things for me to swallow early on, was that it's not all about me all the time. What do you mean? And I've learned to care about others. I've learned to care about myself so I can care about others.
It's important to know that you're not alone, and it's important to have fun with people. I mean, it's really important to meet people with the same goals and aspirations as you have, and maybe not. Friendships, relationships teach you tolerance. They teach you how to grow, how to mature, and how to love. I think I rebuilt a lot of my family relationships through the friendships I had with other people that were like me.
My family has been a huge support system for me. I lost, like I said before, I burned bridges with them really bad in my using, and somehow they always found it in their hearts to forgive me and support me, which is awesome. A lot of people don't have that, and so I definitely think it's important. If you have a family, don't burn those bridges, because they're family. They're always going to be there.
Before my parents had an alarm on their house to keep me out. They had an alarm system installed for me not to be able to come in, and I'm not going to say it was a fast process. It was a very slow process, but today, we have a really good relationship. Today, my mom's like my best friend, and my dad is, he's somebody who's I'm very, very close to, and I still ask their advice and everything.
It's a day-by-day journey. And if they continue to work their program and have sustaining relationships and find a place to give back to others, they will hold on to their recovery. So that right there, they've got to keep doing their part.
Giving back does help me to not want to use drugs again, because I speak my testimony and I share it to young people all over California, and the responses I get back from these kids are so inspiring, and they just make me feel good inside, and it makes me realize that giving back to others is what I'm meant to do.
In order to keep it, you got to give it away. And there's a reason that there is that saying. There's a void in the heart that people and addicts have used to fill with substance because of that void, whether it be fear, whether it be loss of sense of being a teenager, struggles, divorce, whatever the hole in the heart is that teenagers and young adults search for in drugs and alcohol to make that hole fill. Giving back fills that void in that heart.
The opportunities are endless.
Recovery is hope. There's hope in life. There's so much to be had, and there's so much to give, and there's so much hope for all of those out there. I was a bottom of the barrel, sitting in prison, junkie, and I'm here today, clean and sober and happy. And if there's hope for me, there's hope for you.
The things that I have today, and not materialistically, but like the people that I have, and the quality of the people, the quality of the relationships I have. It's just incredible. I have this clarity, so that if I wake up in the morning, I know exactly where I'm at, I know why I'm there, I have a plan for the day, and if I make mistakes throughout the day, which I do, I'll make a mistake, I'll lie, or I'll be rude, or I'll be selfish, or whatever the things are that I do. At the end of the day, I still have a chance, because I haven't closed that door yet. Every day that I'm not loaded, every day I'm sober, that door is still open for me. I can still go through to the next day. I can make things right that I made wrong. I can clean up my mess today.
There is hope. There is a life beyond what you're going through. And it's so worth it. I could not imagine my life without the use of drugs. Could not. And if I got to see this, for back then, I wouldn't have believed you. I thought, absolutely ridiculous. There's no way.
There is hope, because I'm here today, because I have been hopeless to the point where I was ready to take my own life, where I couldn't imagine trying to dig myself out of this hole of dependence, addiction, just absolute chaos. And just believing in something bigger than myself, and believing in the people around me, that it is possible to get clean, no matter. I used opiates on a daily basis for 13 years. I never thought I could imagine life clean and sober, and I have.
I get to live today. The fact is that nobody's gonna have to bury me in a box and say, this girl wasted her life. Why couldn't she get it? Like, the hope for me is that by the time I leave this world, I will have put a mark on it. And that it only takes one person to change a whole bunch of people. And I guess for me, that's hope. Hope that I get to experience life without having to get loaded in order to experience it and then not even remember it.
If you're young in sobriety, you want to still have fun. Just because you're sober enough doesn't mean that life is over, that it's to the grind. The world opens up even more. The amount of fun that I had while I was out there, and I was a bit of a party animal, I'll admit that, but the amount of fun that I had while I was out there pales in comparison to what I'm experiencing today.
There is hope. There are people that are willing to help and willing to talk to you if you're going through something. I mean, if I can do it, if other people I know can do it. I've seen people pretty bad and worse off than me, and they live awesome lives. So, like, whatever you're going through, somebody else probably has gone through the same thing. So there is hope out there.
There is a life outside of using drugs and drinking, and they have so many opportunities and they don't need to mess it up by doing drugs.
This song right here is for all my best friends that have passed away from drug overdose and the ones that are still suffering. Don't be overtaken by drugs. Don't give in. Just get out. Right now. Listen.
A lot of things have changed in the city I live in. So many beautiful people been hurt by addiction. Prescription pills killing the youth. Ignoring the signs and not seeing the truth. We chose to step up and fight for people like you. See, I was once addicted, but with hope I fought through. It's one big decision to determine your existence. Either break out of the chains or get stuck in a prison. This is a beautiful life, you gotta live it to the fullest. Instead of being overtaken, learn to control it. We all got troubles, we all got pain. Just because you do a drug, it doesn't take it away. Look at all the people living life sober today. So many smiles, we just happy every breath that we take. I encourage you to stop killing time in your body. Look at us now, I feel like nothing can stop me. Look at all the people living life sober today. So many smiles, we just happy every breath that we take. I encourage you to stop killing time in your body. Look at us now, I feel like nothing can stop me. Can't stop me, I'm too far past it. No more drugs and I feel fantastic. Everything's changed and it feels so drastic. Open up my eyes, I'm not seeing through plastic. Everything was blurry in the past, it's clear now. Happiness, love, and emotions all I feel now. Thankful for each blink, thankful for each breath. Thankful to be alive, thankful that I'm in check. One day at a time, now I got a clear mind. All I see is sunshine, warms up the heart, lights up the dark, sets like a spark. It's time to dig apart, let's do it now. Look at all the people living life sober today. So many smiles, we just happy every breath that we take. I encourage you to stop killing time in your body. Look at us now, I feel like nothing can stop me. Look at all the people living life sober today. So many smiles, we just happy every breath that we take. I encourage you to stop killing time in your body. Look at us now, I feel like nothing can stop me. Nothing can stop us, man. You could get clean too. Just gotta put your mind and your heart to it. We're all here for you. Don't give in. Just get out.
Be a good influence.
Encourage others.
You matter.
Yesterday is history.
The opportunities are endless.
Help is available, and so is hope.
Don't be overtaken.
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 Imagine your life in 10 years. Where do you choose to be? Don't be overtaken.